With your legs lengthened out and your palms faced up, tuck your shoulders underneath. Take a breath in the nose for 3, gradually inflating for 2. Hold at the top. Then part the lips out your mouth, exhale. Soften your body. And again, breathe in through the nose for 3. Inflate for 2. Hold. Part the lips out the mouth for 3. Releasing. Let it go for 2. And squeeze. Get rid of any stale air. 1 more. Long breath cycle. Inhale. And hold at the top. Part the lips and exhale. And release. Let's wiggle your fingertips and move your toes. Bring some life into your wrists and ankles. And we'll take the arms overhead, legs together. Breath in, reach. Inhale. Exhale, relax. Move the right knee to the chest, fingers over the right shin. Ease the right leg towards your body. You can make little circles with the right knee. Extend the right leg out and release your effort. Breathe. Left knee comes in, fingers over shin. Pull your left leg towards your body. Shoulders are back. Hold here and take a breath. And then we'll lengthen out your leg. Back to center. Hands by the sides and breathe. Put the feet on the floor, knees are bent. Press into the feet, lift your hips up. Point your tailbone away, engage the back side. Palms face down. 1 line from shoulders to knees. Root into the heels. Your feet parallel. You could try to split the floor apart, feeling the sides of the hips engage. So the glute muscles are active and you're trying to open your mat up underneath you. Breathe in, lift, come down slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae. Touch the hips to the mat. Reach your right leg to the ceiling, hands will move behind your thigh. Interlace the fingers, push the low back, reach the heel up, toes towards your face. Shoulders are set back and you'll take a breath to extend the back of the right leg. Breathe in. And open up the right thigh so the toes point to the right. Bend the knee, ankle on thigh. Lift your left foot up, fingers behind left hamstring or shin. Head back, shoulders back. Relax your hips. And rock left and right. Back and forth. We'll lower the left foot down. Lower the right foot down. Lengthen both of your legs. Hands faced up. Take a breath. Release. Re-bend the knees, so feet on the floor, but we'll move the heels wider to the edges of your mat. So the feet are far apart from each other. Push the heels, lift the hips, palms are still face down, only the heels on the floor. So the knees are pointed the same direction as the toes. As you're lifting your hips up, you're feeling your bum, the glute max, but then also the sides, glute med. Here for 3. Keep your hips lifted. Holding with the glute muscles engaged for 2. We'll take a full inhale and slowly come down vertebrae by vertebrae. Take your time. Once the hips have touched the mat, we'll move the feet back hip width. You'll take your left leg to the ceiling, the hands move behind the thigh. Press the low back down, reach the heel to the ceiling. Shoulders are back in their sockets, more space in the back of the left leg. So we're dorsiflexing, toes pull in. 3, a light pull into the thigh. 2, take a breath where you are. Bit of an external rotation, toes point out to left, and then you'll bring the ankle to the thigh. Maybe a press of your left leg to open. Then right leg lifts, hands behind the hamstring or the shin, shifting into thread the needle. So hips down, shoulders back, a gentle rock, left and right. And you'll lower the right foot down with the left foot on the floor. Lengthen both legs. Back to how we started, palms face up, breathe in. And breathe out. Put the feet back on the ground. Knees bent. And then we'll lift the feet off the floor like you're in a chair that fell on its back. So perfect right angles. The thighs would be perpendicular to the ground. Shins would be parallel. You can take the hands by your sides. Push the low back into the floor. Move the feet a bit further away. So we want to feel the low back and the low abdomen engage. Push the low back down. Feet move a bit away. Maybe the hands move onto your thighs. You can press lightly as the thighs resist. 3, feeling the low core work. Hold for 2. And then we'll lower the feet down to the floor. On 1, hands by the sides, knees left, and then right, back and forth. You can take one arm up overhead, roll onto your side into a fetal position. With your top hand on the ground, you'll shift onto your stomach. So straighten the legs, move yourself to face the floor. Palms can face down, point your toes away. So you're lengthening the back of the neck, engaging the thighs, a little lift of the ribs, maybe the hands up off the ground. Here for 3. Feeling your back body engaged for 2. Let's take a breath where you are. And come down, hands down, chin down. Press the knees and lift the hips. Push your hands to shift yourself up into hands and knees. Once you're up, you'll open your knees wide. And then send the hips back to the heels, toes touch. Elbows down, forehead down, breathe. Shift yourself back up to hands and knees. Pause here. Open your finger pads. Look up to the ceiling. Breathe in. Biceps forward. Sternum forward. And round in. Chin to chest. Tuck the tail. Push your hands. Again, inhale to look towards the ceiling. Biceps forward. Tailbone up. And round yourself in as you exhale, chin to chest, push the palms, look to the belly. One more time. Breathe in, Look up to the ceiling. We'll tuck your toes underneath. Lift the hips up towards the roof. Downward dog. Keep the biceps forward and the shoulders broad. Bend one knee and then bend the other knee back and forth. Let's walk your hands to the back of your mat. Hands walk back. You're going to fold over your legs. Let's hold the opposite elbow. Shift yourself left and right in this forward fold. Just dangling back and forth. And with the bend of the knees and the hands and the thighs, begin to rise yourself up. Come to a stand. We'll reach to the ceiling. Take a full breath in. And hands to prayer with your exhale. Take a full breath in. Hands by your sides. Exhale. Let's reach for the ceiling. Breathe in 3 sun salutation, half. Fold forward, so half sun salutation. So we'll keep the feet where they are. Lengthen your spine. Breathe in. So feet stay rooted down. Fold. Exhale. Root the feet to rise up. Engage the glutes. Engage the core. Reach for the ceiling. Look up. Hands at prayer with your exhale. Take a full breath in. Hands by your sides. 2 more times. Inhale the arms wide up overhead. Look at the ceiling. Reach. Bow forward as you exhale. Touch the mat. You can lengthen your spine. Breathe in. Maybe hands to shins. And you'll fold forward with your exhale. Root into the feet. Glutes engaged. Rise up. Look up. Hands to prayer with your exhale. Take a full breath, lift the heart. And hands by the sides, exhale. Your arms wide up overhead, breathe in, look up. And bow forward. Exhale, come right down to the mat. Lengthen up your spine, breathe in. And fold, breathe out. Root the feet, rise yourself up, breathe in. And hands to prayer. As you exhale, we'll stay at prayer. Take a full breath in. Hands by your sides. Shift the weight to the left foot. Open up the right knee. Heel to ankle, foot to calf or thigh. We'll stand upright, nice and tall. So if you're choosing to mirror me, we'll go with that route. So this would be your left leg, and you'd be standing on the right foot if you're choosing to do the mirror image of my placement. So I'll guide this class as if I was mirrored to you. So this would be the left leg open, standing rooted in the right foot. Take a breath in, knee forward, and then release the limbs down. Weight to the left leg, open up the right knee, and you'll shift the leg up to the calf or the thigh. Your hands to prayer in front of your chest, ribs up, core contained, soften the muscles in the face. Breath in, knee forward, release limbs, hands by your sides. Take the arms up to the ceiling, inhale to reach. We'll move the arms down parallel to the floor, bend the knees, move the hips back and down, Utkatasana. So try to rip the floor apart with your feet. Shoulders are set back into their sockets, low core contained, and relax the muscles in the face. We're here for 3. Continue to lower the hips. Feel more activation, more engagement in the glute muscles. Just like what we did in bridge at the start, try to rip the ground apart. Here for 2, continuing to challenge yourself. Feel your legs, the whole low body working. We'll take one more full breath in. You're just gonna fold all the way forward to the floor as you exhale. Let's Let's lengthen your spine. Take a breath in. Hands move to shins. And then fold back forward as you exhale. Let's walk the fingertips forward. Move to downward dog. Keep the fingers tented, open wide. Move your way up to a downward dog. Shoulders are broad, biceps are forward. We'll rise up to the top of a push-up. Take a full breath in. Hold here, biceps forward, core contained, thighs are strong. 3. Broad upper back. 2. Take a full inhale. Hips lift to the ceiling on 1. Again, open the upper back, biceps forward, and take a few long breaths. Bend the knees and walk the feet to the top of the mat. Hands on shins to lengthen spine, breathe in. Bend the knees, bring the hands down, keep the flat back. Take your right leg back, move the right knee down. Look at the feet, the limbs. We want to be on train tracks, not a tightrope walk. Stay here, look up to the ceiling, move your tailbone back. And then round in, chin to chest, look towards the belly. One more time, inhale to look up to the ceiling, move your tailbone back. And then we'll take the left hand on your thigh. Rise yourself up, fingers on top of the leg. Lift the ribs and send the hips forward. Create some space in the front of your thigh. Perhaps you're going to lift the right hand to the ceiling and look up. Take a full breath to expand. And then your hand comes back down to the floor. Left hand outside of the foot. Rock your hips back. Lift the front toes up. Hips towards heel, chin towards chest. Fold forward 3 breaths. And shift yourself back forward. Tap your back toe. Actually, let's not. We'll bring the left hand to the thigh. Let's rise back up, right hand to the ceiling. So this time the hips go forward, reach the right hand a bit higher, and then lean to the side to get even more space in the front of the right hip. So a bit deeper with this time. Look up at the roof under the right arm, take a full inhale. And you'll move the right hand. So come back up, and then the right hand moves down to the ground. The left hand outside of the foot. This time we'll tuck your back toes underneath. And then walk the hands back and lift the front toes up. You can be sure the back toes are tucked under. Fingers are walking forward. Chin towards the chest. 5 breaths. And we'll start to shift back up so the front foot comes back onto the mat. Straighten the back leg, press the front foot, rise yourself up, hands by your sides. Thumbs point away, engage both legs, reach the heart forward. Smooth breaths for 3. And you'll hold here for 2. Let's take a full breath in where you are. Hands move down to the floor, bend the back knee. We'll move the back foot up. Feet together, top of mat, hands on shins to lengthen. Breathe in. Fold back forward, breathe out. And again, lengthen spine, breath in. Knees bend, hands down, send your left foot back. And the knee down. Point the toes away, feet about hip width, still apart. Take a moment, look up to the ceiling, move the tailbone back, feel the stretch underneath the right thigh. And then round it in, chin to chest, tuck the tail under like you're doing a cat pose in a lunge. But then look back up to the ceiling, take a breath in. And now we'll move the right hand to the right leg and shift yourself all the way up. So hands could both be on the thigh for support. Maybe you're going to reach the left hand to the ceiling. Just a bit of a pull into the front of the hip. Inhale, reach. And we'll take your hand back down outside of the foot. Frame the front foot. And rock your weight back. Hips down towards the heel, chin towards the chest. Fingers walk forward. Breathe. And you'll rock yourself back up. Let's come through a second set. Right hand, right leg. Rise yourself up. You can reach again. So left hand to the ceiling. Take a breath in, hips forward, and you'll lean to your right. Three, ribs up, hips forward, more space in the front of your left hip. Hold for two. And you'll shift out of this. The left hand comes back down. Hands frame front foot. Tuck your back toes underneath. Rock your hips back. Lift the front toes up. You can use the hand if you like to ensure that the back pinky toe is also tucked. Fingers walk forward, chin towards chest, and breathe. And we'll shift back forward. Let's straighten the back leg. Push the front foot, rise yourself up, bring the hands by your sides. Thumbs point away, engage the legs. And we'll hold this for three. Keep the belly drawn in, shoulders are back and down. Both thighs are strong for two. And we'll take a full breath in here. Hands down to the floor, bend the back knee, move the back foot up. So the feet are together at the top of the mat, hands move to shins, lengthen, breathe in. And fold back forward as you breathe out. So dangle heavy, you can hold opposite elbows, sway yourself left and right. A bend in both knees and hands on thighs. Rise yourself to stand. And pause here. Take a breath in. A full breath out. Hands low back. Lift the ribs up, look up, elbows closer together. Lean back and send the hips forward. So you're lifting the sternum and pressing the hips, opening the front of the pelvis. 3 breaths. Engage the glutes. 2. And you'll rise yourself back up on 1. Hands release, give it a shake. And you can move the hands onto the hips, knees bent, lift the ribs, breathe in, we'll hinge forward with the flat back. So long spine. Chin up. 3. Slow and steady, flat back. Hinge your way forward 2. Take a full inhale where you are. And fold to the floor. With a bend in both knees, you'll send the right leg back. And then the right heel to the mat. So the right foot is parallel to the back of your mat. Bend the front knee a bit more. We'll lead with the right hand. So right hand goes forward, push the front foot, rise yourself up into warrior 2. Take a breath in, bend deeper in the left knee. So you're lifting your ribs, you're looking over the middle finger of the left hand. And you're guiding the front knee open, pointing the tailbone down, lifting your ribs. Reach the fingers, 3 breaths. You can pull the feet closer while reaching the fingers wider. And Again, if you have more depth, find it for one more breath. And you'll open the palms to face the far side of your space. The front arm is going to move down to the thigh. Look up towards the ceiling or the right hand. You're pulling the feet closer together, lifting the right hip. 3 breaths. And then you can look back down to the floor, press the left foot, shift yourself back up to warrior 2. Pause here and breathe. And you'll flip the left hand to face the ceiling. Lift your left arm up, the right hand moves to the leg or the low back. Look at the palm and extend the left side of your body. Full breath, reach. Shift yourself back up into warrior 2. Move the hands to the hips, straighten the front leg, pivot your toes inward. So toes are in, heels are apart, knees bent, lift the ribs up. With the hands and the hips, begin to shift yourself forward. So long, flat back, chin up. Slow and steady shifting forward. 3 breaths. At the end of the 3rd breath, you'll relax the low back and bring the hands down to the ground in front. Let's walk the hands to the top of the mat. Pivot your toes. And we'll slide the front foot back, move to a downward dog, hands and feet hip width or shoulder width. Try to feel the shoulder blades broadening, tailbone lifting, perhaps heels towards the floor. And you'll rise yourself back up to the top of a push-up. Hold here, high plank. Of course, if you need to lower the knees, do what's right for your body. We'll hold for 3. Engage the thighs, draw the core in. Hold for 2, feeling engaged in the whole front of the body. Open the upper back. Take a full inhale. Hips to the ceiling, downward dog, exhale. And with both knees bent, you'll walk the feet to the top of the mat. Passive fold over the legs. Hold the opposite elbow, rock left and right. And we can release this and dangle, hands onto the floor. Let's bring a bend into both knees, and you'll send the left foot all the way back. Left foot onto the mat, parallel to the back of the mat. You're going to bend the front knee a bit further. And then we're going to lead with your left hand. Forward up, push the front foot, rise yourself, warrior 2, breathe in. Bend deeper, guide the right knee over the pinky toe of the front foot as you breathe out. So again, the ribs are lifted up, broad in the upper back, gaze over the right middle finger. You're continuing to play with your edge. Smooth, steady breaths. Let's open the palms to face the side of the space. Take the front forearm to the thigh, back arm to the ceiling. Look up. Pull the feet closer as you lift the top hip. Breathe. Look down towards the floor, press the front foot to shift yourself back up into a warrior 2. Take a breath cycle. And you'll flip the front hand and reverse it back. Extend the right side of the body, keep the knee bent, look at the right hand. Breathe in. And shift yourself back up into a warrior two. Breathe. Your hands can move onto your hips, straighten the front leg, pivot your toes towards the far wall. We'll bring the hands behind your back, fingers interlaced. Take the hands down, lift the heart up. Breathe in. You'll fold yourself forward. So a little bend in the knees, hands towards the ceiling. Let's take your hands to your low back. Then release your fingertips down to the ground. Begin to walk your hands right to the top of your mat. Pivot your toes to face forward and then slide the front foot back to a downward dog. Hips are the same width as the hands and the feet. Open the shoulders, biceps forward. Find your optimal posture here. 3 breaths. And rise yourself to high plank. Biceps forward, core contained. And breathe. And inhale. Hips back up to the ceiling, down dog, exhale. We'll bend both knees, walk the hands back to the feet. So you're in a passive fold over the legs. Dangle for a moment, chin towards chest. You could take the hands behind the head, fingertips interlaced, elbows closer to knees. Then either use the hands to walk up the legs or stack the vertebrae one at a time. Slow and steady, rise yourself up to a standing position. And you're all the way up, the shoulders to the ears, back and down. Take a full breath in, out your mouth. Hands on the hips. We'll step forward with the left foot. Bend the left knee, lean in, lift the back heel, breath in, tilt forward, right foot off the floor. So lengthen spine and hinge hips. Hands by your sides when you're ready, thumbs point away. Hold here for 3. Continue to hinge the pelvis, hold for 2. And slow and steady with control, we'll move the back knee through. Take your time. Lift the knee up and take the hand underneath the thigh. Maybe both hands underneath. Interlace, inhale, lengthen the leg. We'll rebend, release, and lower. Put the other foot back, hands on hips, breath in, lean forward. Lift your back leg off the ground, and hinge. Hands by the sides, thumbs point away. You're lifting the arms, feeling the upper back engage. Draw the navel to the spine. And we're taking a smooth, steady breath here. With control, let's move the back knee through. We'll lift the left knee up. And your hand can come underneath your leg. Breathe in. You'll extend. And then re-bend the knee and lower the foot to the floor. Keep the weight in the left leg, open up the right knee. Lift the knee up, hand on the knee. So you'll guide the leg open. You can take your left hand by your side. So you're welcome to stay in the current shape. Maybe a gaze towards left hand. To extend further, you could scoop up the right big toe and extend if you choose to go there. Three. Hold for 2. And you'll bend, knee forward, and release. Take a breath. And again, next knee, open, lift, hand on knee, other hand by your side. Lift and look towards the right hand. Again, you can chill here for a bit, or the next step, left hand could scoop big toe, and you could choose to extend the left leg to your side. 3. Hold for 2. And you'll release. Bring the knee back forward. Let it go. Give that a little shake. We'll move into our final balancing posture, dancer. Let's step forward with your left foot. Move both arms forward and up. The right hand will continue. Bend the right knee. Aim to pick up the inside of the right foot. Right knee down, left hand up. Kick down and back. And breathe. We'll begin to move the knees back together and release the limbs. Let's shift to the next side, arms back up. Left hand continues back, bend left knee, pick up inside of foot. Knee down, hand up, kick down and back. Three breaths. And the knees together. Release, shoulders up, back and down. Let's bring the feet to the top of the mat. Reach to the ceiling, take a breath in. You'll fold all the way to the floor. Come right down, hands down to the mat. And move the hands to the shins and lengthen your spine. Breathe in, bend the knees, put the hands down, walk the feet to the back of your mat. Open your finger pads really broad. Downward dog, shifting to high plank. Take a breath in. You can lower the knees if you want to. Start to lower your whole body towards the mat. Once you've touched down, point your toes away. Engage your thighs and we'll lift the ribs up. Lift your hands, lift your elbows up. Lower yourself back down as you exhale. Let's go through this 2 more times. Engage the thighs, lift the ribs up, elbows up, hold and squeeze the back body. And then bring yourself back down. 1 more time. Engage thighs and lift. Hold, elbows up. And lower. Press the knees, lift the hips, push your hands. Rise up to tabletop. And open knees wide. Hips back. Take a few breaths here. And bring yourself back up to table. Hands come back to the knees. We'll stand upright on your knees. Hands can move to low back. You can tuck your toes underneath if you like. Look up to the ceiling. Lean back. And maybe one hand moves to a heel at a time. So the hips forward, lift the ribs up. A little bend of the elbows. 3. Hips forward, lifted ribs for 2. And you can move one hand to the low back, then the other hand up. We'll keep your toes tucked underneath. Move your hips back and down, and tuck your pinky toes under as well to feel open in the soles of your feet. Hands on thighs, palms faced up. Close your eyes and breathe. The soles of the feet might feel a bit discomfort. If you're ever feeling overwhelmed, move the hands to the floor in front. Let's take 3 more breaths. Now bring yourself back to a tabletop position. Hands wide. Bring the knees up behind the wrists. So you're pointing the toes away. Come back. Your toes should be touching. Take a seat. Bring the hands back to the floor behind. Lift the hips up. So a line from the shoulders to the knees. Take a breath. Lower the hips back down. Lower one elbow at a time. And make your way down. If you can go further, head and shoulders down. Perhaps hold opposite elbows above your head and breathe. Bring the hands underneath your ankles and press the elbows to shift yourself back up. You'll bring the hands back onto the floor in front. Just take a moment here. A little bit of movement to release any tension in the spine. And bring yourself back to a hands and knees position. Open finger pads. Walk the knees back. Look up to the ceiling. Lift your tailbone. Breathe in. And then your chin to your chest and tuck the tail, breathe out. Inhale to look back up to the ceiling. Tuck your toes underneath and we'll lift your hips to the sky, downward dog. Bend your right knee, bend your left knee. And then we'll move your left leg to the ceiling, breathe in. Take your left knee behind the left wrist. Shifting to pigeon pose. Angle the left leg. Walk the right leg back. Move the sternum forward. Take a breath in. And you'll fold over your left leg, elbow at a time. Forehead to the fist or the mat. Breathe. hands back on the mat. Bring yourself back up. We'll move to a tabletop so the back knee comes forward, front foot slides back. Keep the the back knee on the floor. Lift the right leg up. Little opening at the hip. Level back off, knee back down, and we'll move to the next side. Toes tucked, hips up, down dog. Breathe. Lift the left leg up. Take an inhale. Move the knee behind the wrist. Angle your shin. And walk the right leg back. Whenever you're ready, you'll fold over the front leg. Forehead down and breathe. And 3 breaths. Hands to the mat. Rise up. You'll move the back knee up. Front leg goes back. Lift and open. And level back off. Lower the knee back down. Stay here. Look up to the ceiling. Lift your tail. Breathe in. And then round in. Look to the stomach as you exhale. Move back to neutral. Look over the right shoulder for the right heel. And next side over the other shoulder. Look back to the left heel. And center, you can cross the ankles. You'll come back to a seat. Cross the ankles, come back to a seat. Move the legs out in front. Heels hip width. Reach up, take a breath in. And fold over your legs. Chin towards chest. Maybe grabbing onto the ankles or the heels. Just relaxing here in this forward fold. About 10 breaths. And walk the hands back, rise yourself back up. We'll open the heels wider, so the heels are outside of your mat. Let's take your left hand down, right arm up. Look to the right hand. Take a breath. And then move the right hand down and your left hand up. Take a breath. Hand back down. Hands on the knees or the ankles. Bring the legs in. Bring the heels together. Hands on ankles and lift up. Breathe in. Ribs forward. And you'll fold over your feet. Maybe walk the hands forward. Chin towards chest. Forehead towards the feet. Rise back up. Hands on knees. Close the legs. Give the legs a hug. Tuck the chin in. Lean back. With your feet a bit forward, hip width. Hands back on the ground by the hips. Push the feet, push the hands, lift the hips forward and up. Reverse table. Look at the ceiling. One line from the knees right up to the head. Breathe. And we'll lower the hips down. Hips close to heels. One elbow down, then the other. Bring the head back. Push the feet, lift your hips, breathe. Lower the hips back down. We'll close with a spinal twist. Take your right thigh up and over left thigh. You'll lift the legs, lift the feet off the floor, send the legs to the left, hand on top. Reach the right hand away and look to the thumb. Look up, legs up, feet on the floor, unbind the legs and take the other side. So bind in the other direction. Keep your legs lifted, we'll send them towards the right. Reach your left hand away and look to your left thumb. Breathe. And look back up, legs back up, feet on the floor. Open the knees, relax the front of the hips. Smooth breaths. You can lift the knees back up and legs lengthened out. Arms by the sides. Relax here.
Namaste.